No, the Declaration started, and this I don't think was an accident. See, the Declaration begins where the Bible begins. What's the first thing we're told in the Bible, from the very first page? What's the first thing we are told about
questions.
God? No, it's not a trick question. It's an obvious question. In the beginning, right, God, what?
Made heaven and earth.
Created, made. The first attribute of God, the first activity of God listed in the Scripture is creation. What do they refer to God as in the
We hold these
Declaration?
truths to be self-evident that all men are
created equal and endowed by their Creator. So the first thing you're invited to do is think through what creation is about. And I actually think that we can think through what creation is about a little better. You know, we're never going to be able to think it through totally because His ways are not our ways. But we are going to be able to think it through as so far as our understanding can grasp it. And if I think of creation or thought of creation in ages past, examples might be, I don't know, somebody making a wheel. They might be somebody like the guy at the beginning of the movie Patriot putting together a chair, right?
Mel Gibson.
You think in terms of craftsmen, you think in terms of artisans. You might get to be more complex. You'll think in terms of maybe building a house. And then you get to the concept of the fellow whose ideas inform the house. That's the architect, right? And the sketches he makes and so forth and so on. But as you get more sophisticated, come up to our day in terms of our little understanding of things, you think of computer programs, and you think of the wonderful things that you see on a computer screen or in a digital movie, and all of this images of worlds and so forth and so on. Where does it all begin? It all begins with information. Put in a certain form, processed in a certain way, which then has a certain effect on certain elements of the matter and produces a visual effect or a sound effect or other effects that we then process. So the Creator becomes the source of information, but the Creator also is the one informing and the one what? This is what we often forget. It's not like the carpenter. The carpenter's over here, the chair is over there. The carpenter is in a sense forming the chair, and the chair is being formed by the carpenter. But when the Creator creates, the one informing and the one being informed are the same. Because in the beginning, God. See? Doesn't say in the beginning God and matter, God and this, God and that. God's working with Himself. God doesn't need to work with anything else. That's what creation from nothing means. God doesn't have to work with anybody else. God informs Himself so as to produce an outcome that corresponds to His what? What we're told by John. Corresponds to His Word.
In the beginning was the Word.
And people say, where's the Word in Genesis? In the beginning, God created, and it summarizes what He created. And what's the first act of creation? And God said. There's the Word. Be light.
All right, let's bring it around for me to the centrality of God in the Declaration. I love the parallel between creation in the book of Genesis and the echo of that in the Declaration. But where has the religious right missed it? Why are we in the pickle that we're in?
Because, in point of fact, I think everybody that talks about these things, on the one hand, they will, in the religious quote-unquote context, talk about the primacy of God. But they have accepted an understanding of politics that rejects the Declaration. Because the Declaration
Explain that.
is about the fact that justice, rights, the very institution of government which exists to secure rights that come from God. Mm-hmm. If you exist to secure rights that come from God, then the one who is determining the content of what you're securing is God. Mm-hmm. Yes? So you can't tell me that the American polity can exist in a way that doesn't pay attention to God, because the very substance of our rights, the very substance of justice as far as we pursue it, and therefore the very mission of government as it is understood in the Declaration, is a mission that requires knowing and respecting the endowment of God for the substance of what? And here's the key thing, other place where people go wrong.
The religious right has agreed to a godless discussion about public policy.
But yes, because they've been intimidated by a lie. And most people
Which
now
lie?
know it's a
Which
lie.
lie?
Most of the people I talk to who are believers, pro-lifers, people fighting in defense of
I got to tell you this story. Please let me tell you this, because you'll get a kick out of this. I'm determined to not name names unless I change my mind. I took out an ad in 1992, 96. I can't remember now. Yeah, it was 92. I said, Christian beware. Full-page ad in the USA Today and full-page ad in Washington Times. And it said, Christian beware. Do not put the economy ahead of the 10 Commandments. Mm-hmm. And then I quoted 3 issues where the Clinton campaign had definitively said it was an open rebellion to God. And then it said something like, if we put money ahead of our most sacred beliefs and the commandments of God, how can we expect God's blessing on our country? And then it said something to the effect of, is it a sin to vote for Bill Clinton? When the word got out that we were doing this, we were raising money for a full-page ad in USA Today, I got a call from 3 of the best-known leaders on the religious right, each of them, in turn, imploring me, don't run the ad. You'll make us all look bad. Don't bring God into this discussion. Keep God out of the political realm. And I said, I was so dumbstruck. I said, are you kidding me? What are we, conservative humanists? We hang our beliefs on nothing?
But I think, Randall, it's because of the triumph of the lie. What is the lie? That our Constitution requires the separation of church and state.